big programming team. It's about 18 people now, and the Toronto Festival has never really been the voice of one person, one director. It's been quite inclusive, and those programmers have huge, deep love of cinema, great knowledge of cinema. Some of them live in Toronto, some of them live actually around the world. We have a programmer in Rome, another in Athens, we used to have one in Barcelona, somebody now in, she's in Lebanon. So yeah, it's a very international event that way. And each one of them is given a certain number of film slots, films that they can invite to the festival, and complete freedom to do whatever they actually want to do with those invitations. What we're looking for, I think, is something that's different, something that excites an audience, obviously, connects with an audience. I think something that's cinematic, something that's using the medium in a particular way, a novel way, or just a unique way. You're always looking for that spark of individuality, and you're obviously looking for a film that also deals with the subject of importance. Well, I don't think they're just shot for the festival circuit, but I think a lot of them, that's actually probably their destiny. They end up just being screened for festivals. Although in their home markets, I think they probably get a little bit wider dissemination. They're shown on television, DVD, they're just a little bit more accessible. But I think it's very sad that it's turned into this, that there's a section of cinema now that used to be screened in non-commercial or in commercial art house cinemas, and I think that art house movement to a large extent has dissipated. It's been sucked up by the multiplexes, so there's less of a demand for alternative forms of cinema. And so film festivals, and you're right, there's so many of them, actually keep that spark, that flame alive. They're almost like an alternative exhibition system. In fact, I think that's what it's basically turned into. That doesn't worry me, to be honest. I think that's true, but anyone can pick up a pen and write a novel. You've got a piece of paper, and it's, of course, much, much simpler. Or anyone can take a paintbrush and paint a painting. It's not that expensive, to be honest. And I don't think that, because those art forms are so democratic, I don't think it means that the novel has become any less interesting or painting has become any less interesting. It's just changed in a certain kind of way. I mean, both of those art forms are incredibly democratic. And film, there was always this notion that it was expensive, it was very technical, people were intimidated by it, they couldn't pick up the camera. A lot of women were intimidated by the technical side of it. And of course, because it's become simpler to do, a lot more people are entering that field. But I think the good ones always surface, the good ones will always be found, and the mediocre, or the ones who are not so talented, their careers will probably be extremely short. You know, there's a part of me that believes in film schools and training, and there's another part of me that doesn't, to be honest, that thinks that some of the most talented people have actually not come out of film schools. They come to the medium with no real training. They come with a different kind of background, sociology, politics, history. They're just more interested in the world, and so they have more sensitivity towards the subject as opposed to just the pure form of film. Yeah, we do a bunch of things, actually. We have a mentoring program, very specific mentoring program called Talent Lab. Two, actually. One's called Talent Lab for directors and screenwriters. Another one's called Rising Stars for young Canadian actors. And that's really designed to put them in front of the most talented creative people in film in the world. So it's a very small program that we actually run as a part of the film festival. One of the key things, which is somewhat different than that we've developed at the festival, is much more audience-oriented, to be honest. And we've done a number of things. We run a circuit of almost 200 cities across Canada where we're showing Canadian films, independent films, foreign language films. And they're basically festival-style films. And they go out to small communities, some of them small cities, but it's not the major urban centers in Canada. And that's really designed to act as a balance to the Hollywood films that they usually see in their multiplex. They don't have the opportunity to see these films. More specifically, in Toronto, for many years, the last 22 years, we've been running a cinematheque. And we now have built our own building with 5 screens, and we're running constantly many retrospectives, serious retrospectives on the history of cinema. The building is allowing us to do that. It's allowing us to create this kind of context, this hub, this center for audiences, for filmmakers to intersect with the history of this incredible art form. I think it's fantastic, actually. One of the reasons I wanted to come here was I know the reputation of the festival. I've read about it, and I've talked to some people who've been here before, and the fact that it focused just on cinematographers was, for me, really, really intriguing. I mean, it made me think that why isn't there a festival for film composers, musicians? And you're absolutely right. Cinematographers tend to be in the shade. Of course, it's all about the director or the actors. Those are the big superstars that drive cinema. I've seen many of the films in competition already, but I wanted to come here and see these films through a different lens. And obviously, when we're looking at films for the Toronto Festival, you can't separate yourself from cinematography, editing, music, performance, direction, et cetera. All those things come together. But I really wanted to just re-see these films and just look at them with a visual eye to a large extent, and just see what my other jury members, some of whom, of course, are incredibly famous cinematographers, and I don't get a chance, really, to talk to many cinematographers. You get a chance to talk to the director a lot, the producer a lot, you meet the actors. But the cinematographers, they've moved on to other projects. They move so quickly in their careers. They're shooting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 films a year. So this is a chance for me to actually hang with some great, great cinematographers and get a sense of their views on contemporary cinema, their views on some of the films that I've seen, and I just want to see how different their thinking is than my own.